So, folks, we have Jennifer McDonald with Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas here today, and we have Gary Gaston with Innovar, a technology group here on campus that employs probably 200 plus students at any given time. Boys and Girls Club, one of our premier nonprofits, some of the best at what they do in the world, right here in Wichita, Kansas, employing students year-round in applied learning opportunities, but particularly in opportunities during the fall and spring semester for their before and after school programs. So I'm excited for you guys to hear more about opportunities with both of these industry partners. But before I do that, I'll do a quick introduction. So let me share my screen. As I said, my name is Brian Austin. I am the Director of Employer Relations with Wichita State University, and I have the good fortune and privilege to work with individuals like Gary, like Jennifer, and many other employers who are eager to hire our WSU students. So Jennifer or Gary, can you nod your head if you can see my screen there? Okay, wonderful. So what do we do at the Shocker Career Accelerator? Well, there are about 16 of us. And what we do, and if I could get my presentation to cycle, there we go. So we help employers connect with our students, but we also, at the same time, help our students connect with our employers. So we help you do that by building skills to navigate your unique career journey. So whether that's resume reviews, mock interviews, all those kinds of things. And we also provide opportunities for you to connect with our employers. So in addition to events like this, we'll host multiple career fairs. I'll tell you more about those at the end of the call. Career fairs, which both Jennifer and Gary will be present at. So applied learning is a big differentiator for us here at Wichita State University. We were able to track over 8,000 different applied learning experiences last year that our students participated in. So that's co-ops, internships, other jobs where students were able to earn while they learn part-time while they're going to school full-time. So students earned about $30.6 million in wages. And so that's a big deal. We know that a lot of our students do work, a lot of our students need to work, and we're grateful for our employer partners for providing those opportunities for our students to work. Let's see, so industry connections at WSU. That I got ahead of my slides. So with that, I'm going to stop there and I am going to talk about, or I'm going to let Jennifer talk about what they do at Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas. So Jennifer, are you ready to share your screen?
I am.
All right.
So, all right, I thought it might be the easiest to just share our website. Our website has a wealth of information about our organization. But to kind of kick things off, I wanted to just share a little bit about who we are and what we do. So what I love about Boys and Girls Club is we are a national organization where we have clubs all across the US and even into Hawaii. So there are thousands of clubs that are providing before and after school care to youth who need us the most. So research has found that children who are school aged are more likely to get into trouble before or after school. And so we provide a safe place for kids to go. We have enrichment activities, programs that allow organizations to come into our club and give youth mentorship, guidance, and leadership. And we are all about creating a safe place, but a fun place. So our guiding principle here is to be great. So we believe that there is greatness in every child, and we value diversity, equity, and inclusion to really meet kids where they are and really try and bring out the best in them. So our club is located here in Wichita as kind of our headquarters, but we actually have 16 different locations across South Central Kansas that we are doing either before, after school, or both. So we are in the Derby School District, the Mays School District. We have a partner program at a Catholic church here locally in Wichita, that's just down the street from us. And then we also have programs in Emporia. So in total, there's 17 different locations, and we couldn't make these programs be successful without our employees. So we employ about 116 individuals amongst the different sites. And we hire a lot of college students. So you can kind of see as I scroll through some of the pictures, we have a lot of youth working with mentors. And here's some WSU shirts. I love that here, right here. And so with our Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas, we are really making an impact in our local community. So leadership includes myself. We have a CEO. We have our COO, who really has the bulk of our employees underneath her. And so as a youth development professional, we are looking for individuals who really enjoy working with kids. So I'll show you one of our jobs that we have available here in Wichita that we find a lot of WSU students interested in because it works with their school schedule. We typically run programs from 2:30 to 6:30 Monday through Friday. And we're looking for individuals who enjoy creating environments that are fun and engaging. We do activities like sports. So we're always doing different like kickball tournaments or basketball tournaments, playing fun outdoor games. We have like a full-size basketball court inside and outside, and a flag football field that converts into a soccer field. So people who like to engage in kind of outdoor sporting activities like working for us because they get to play games with the kids. We also foster literacy. So we have a lot of reading programs that we do with our kids. And then we bring in renowned programs like Girl Scouts and different scouting activities, as well as Storytime Village, which allows our members to write a book. So if you have an interest in being a mentor or leader to youth before or after school, our youth development professional could be a great fit for you. Our website is Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas, so it's easy to find through any sort of Google search. And then our website would come up, and then you would just go to careers, and it would take you to the page that I just had open here. But we'd encourage you to come check us out. Some of the values that we have as an organization, which make us a great place to work, is we're committed to fun, growth, and safety. We are loyal to our members and our families. We have about 2,000 families that we are impacting and working with all year round. We're united by our diverse community. You can't see my shirt, but I have a Juneteenth shirt on today. And what I love is we celebrate all the diversity. We talked about Pride Month here in the month of June. And so we just want anybody to feel comfortable in our space, and we welcome people of all backgrounds. And then we're bound by integrity, respect, and equity. And then we want to be the club and the place that children want to be. We know that there are a lot of different kind of camps or before and after school programs that individuals could go to, but why they choose us is because of the community that we create inside of our clubs. So right now we're in the midst of our summer programs, and in the summer we actually provide all day care for children in our community. So instead of having them from 2:30 to 6:30 like the job description said, we have them from 7:30 a.m. until 5:30 Monday through Friday. During our summer programs, we take field trips where they get to go to different places in the community. They were just at Great Plains Nature Center, which is also kind of over by, it's in East Wichita, so kind of over here by WSU. And they get to do a lot of fun things. So I wanted to take some time to open it up for any questions that you may have about Boys and Girls Club, if that's allowed. Brian, is that is that allowed?
Yeah, I think we have time for a few questions, maybe one or two, and then we'll have time for Q&A at the end of the call as well. So
Okay, perfect.
if anyone has a quick question for Jennifer, you can save questions for me and admissions towards the end of the call, but if you have questions specifically for Jennifer, please, I invite you to just unmute and ask those questions. I'll give us about 10 seconds.
I have a question.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
If we don't live in Kansas, can we work through your company at a local place and then work at the place at WSU during the school year, or is it like just during the school year?
That is a very good question. So we are kind of individually operated, all of the different clubs across the US, but we work very collaboratively together. So we do find that we have had people work for one club in a different state and then transfer their employment to a new club. So that is actually possible. So once you're in that Boys and Girls Club network, we want to see you continue to grow your career and can help foster those communications to get you connected to another club. So that's a really great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What about ones without a card wanting to work in the children's center?
Okay, can you repeat your question? I didn't quite hear it.
I can repeat it for you. Was that Lauren Kohler that asked that question?
Yes, it's Lauren.
Yeah, so Lauren asked, what about students that will not have a car their freshman year? Now, I think we may have some good news there, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Well, so we are off of 21st Street, which is also where WSU is, and there's busing. So as a city, the city of Wichita has a really good transit system that actually WSU is on a bus stop, and Boys and Girls Club are also on a bus stop. So you could use our Wichita transit system to get to and from work.
Thank you.
Yes, Lauren, that's a good question. Chase, I want to commend you. That is a beautiful question that you asked as well. Jennifer, you also have opportunities. I mean, a lot of your opportunities are just down the street from Wichita State University. So
correct.
It may be a mile away.
It's definitely walkable.
It's definitely walkable. So, and certainly easy enough to ride a bicycle or something if you're fortunate enough to have a bike or one of these fancy electric scooters that I see students riding around on. So great questions. If you have more questions, again, feel free to drop them in the chat. My colleague Julie, I see, is online answering some of those. And of course, you can email me directly and I can get you connected. as well as answer any additional questions you have. So this is great. Jennifer, one thing before I turn it over to Gary, this careers webpage, I'm going to drop it in the chat. This is https://bgcsck.org/careers, correct?
Correct.
So I'm dropping that in the chat for everyone to see. I think we should be able to send out an email with these links in it to all the participants, as well as we'll probably drop these links when we post this recording on YouTube. So look for those links down below to that career webpage.
Fantastic. So I
Wonderful.
just want to
Go
add
ahead.
one more thing before I wrap up. So the page that we're on right now of the website has our benefits. So as part-time employees, you are eligible for benefits with our company, including the competitive compensation. One unique one is a 401k 2% match and a 3%, it's called a safe harbor election, which is basically just cash in the bank that we're putting towards your retirement. You may not be thinking about retirement now, but someday in the future you will. So that's a huge benefit that not a lot of employers offer. But one thing that I think is important is the employee assistance program. As things come up in life or school, we have resources that are there for you counseling wise or even just advice wise, and then on-the-job training and an inclusive work environment. So I just wanted to add that as I wrapped up.
Jennifer, I'm so glad you jumped in and did. That's phenomenal. As for part-time employees offering those kinds of benefits, that's very, very cool. Awesome. Okay, so I dropped the link in the chat for anybody, and I encourage you to jump on and apply for those opportunities now today. There's nothing that's stopping you. I know this team, Jennifer's team, is responsive and eager to get more people hired for the fall semester. So if you're ready to go, I encourage you to do it. So yeah, jump on in. Gary, are you ready?
I am.
Great. I'll, Jennifer, if you would stop sharing your screen and we'll let Gary share his screen. While Gary is pulling his up, he made a brilliant point. Jennifer mentioned the bus, and I forgot to mention this when I heard her say it. Gary pointed out that every WSU student receives a bus pass through Wichita Transit just for being a WSU student. So it is free. Again, you probably won't need the bus working with Boys and Girls Club since their main location is just down the street from WSU. But if you do need the bus, there's that option. So Gary, turning it over to you. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. So I'm Gary Gaston. I'm one of the directors for Innovar here at Wichita State University. We are part of the Applied Studies program through Wichita State, and we're here to enable, enhance, and empower our students that work for us. Let's see if I can get my slides to work right. There we go. So earlier, Brian mentioned some of the career fair experiences, and this is a photo from one of the best career fair experiences I think Brian's team puts on, which is the Root Beer Kegger. It's an outdoor career fair that comes up, and we have a great time out there at that program. And I invite each and every one of you, whether you come to work for us or anywhere else, just come out and say hi at the Root Beer Kegger, get some candy, get a Frisbee or whatever we've got there for you. We offer flexible schedules for our students. We work around your class schedule. Our average students work anywhere from 15 to 25 hours a week during the school year. And then during the summertime, they can work 40 hours a week. Our students get to experience a corporate work schedule and a corporate work environment. They get to collaborate with the industry professionals. They get invaluable real-world experience, industry contacts, and most of all, we train and support our students. We have training classes that we provide the students that just enhance what you're learning in class at Wichita State or any other local university. But we provide all that for our students, as well as on-the-job support. On the phone here with us is one of our operations managers, Shanna Evans. And so if you've got questions about Innovar, you can just send it to her in the chat, that she can help answer those for you.
Hi, guys.
So these are the 6 people that make up the executive staff for Innovar. And I'll let you guys read the stuff off on the right-hand side there. But Matt Forney is our executive director. Tom Rose and I are the 2 directors. Each of us has half of the company. Right now we have almost 300 students between the 2 of us that we manage. Yeah, Brian, wow. A year ago we were at 125, and now we're at 300. So we're growing like wildfire. Ashley Forney and Shanna Evans are our 2 operations managers. And then Vincent Jimenez is our postgraduate placement coordinator. And he will work with you as you get closer to graduation to understand what your needs are, where you'd like to work, and he'll help you with some of the same stuff that Brian's team does, with resume reviews, mock interviews, and things like that. He'll get you hooked up with companies who are looking for full-time placement. That's what he's doing. So what do you want to do with your life, right? What's your career goals? Do you want to be in development? Do you want to do data analytics, cybersecurity, hardware design, or you're just not sure what you want to do? Well, scan that QR code there, and that's your answer. That's how you apply to Innovar. Click on that you just put your phone up there and scan that. It'll take you right to our application site, and that gets you to graduation. We call this the JOB scholarship. You get a job, and it pays for your school. Several of our students are graduating here next year debt-free because of working through Innovar. Most of our positions, we start out around our entry-level positions start out at $12 an hour, and the sky's the limit for what they can go to. We've had students graduate making $24 to $25 an hour in their senior year of high school. And when they walk out on stage and graduate, they walk out of Innovar and right into a full-time position with the company they've been working for already. Got some quotes from some of our past students. Josue Renteria. He's an identity and access management specialist, which is part of cybersecurity. And if you like cybersecurity, we have several positions. We'll talk about those here in a little bit. But Innovar helped him to jumpstart his career, make connections. And then Caroline Rudin, she's a security operations center lead. She actually works for Innovar now full-time. We hired her right out of our student staff. The day she graduated, she went from being a student to a full-time employee with Innovar. And she's working in the security operations center at Spirit Aerosystems right now as our lead down there. And then we have Chasney Cesar. She's a change management project manager. And Trevor Rychek, senior software developer. And these are just some examples of our students who have gone on. This year, I think we have 12 students who are going straight from Innovar into a full-time job by the end of this summer. And these are some of the places that we have employment opportunities at. We have Textron Aviation, Koch Industries, NetApp. NetApp's here on campus. So you don't have to go anywhere for that. They're right here. Spirit Aerosystems, Wichita Public Schools, USD 259, Integra Technologies. Anybody ever heard of Integra? They're going to build a chip fab up north of Bel Air. And then we have Biztopia as a marketing group, and Intrust Bank. And just to kind of go over some of the positions available. So at Textron, we have what we call the help hangar, which is kind of a walk-up help desk. You bring your laptop in, walk up to the counter, a student, and by the way, Textron here in Wichita, their IT support, first and second level IT support, is entirely run by Innovar students. There's not a full-time Textron employee in that group. It's all run by one of our students. You take your laptop in or your desktop or your phone, bring it in, tell them you got a problem, and they fix it right there before you leave. And they'll take care of it. We have cybersecurity, identity access management, and those programs on the east side of town. Software developers working for Textron, working with their public-facing website where companies can go on and buy spare parts for their airplanes. The students are helping to design and maintain that website. We have data analytics there at Textron and networking. So you can imagine all the network cable that's strung throughout a factory the size of Textron, and our students are helping to manage that. Then we have Koch Industries. We have several students that are doing system analyst work. For every minute that Koch Industries computers are down, they lose $1 million. And so we have a team of students that are up there to make sure those applications for the trading floor stay up and running. And then we have the PC build, a company the size of Koch Industries. They're always swapping out computers, and our students are building those PCs to put in the engineers' offices. At NetApp, we have a drive certification test engineer. So if you ever wanted to know what a drive looks like inside or how it works, they can show you because they test it inside and out. Software development organization, they write all the code that those big storage systems that NetApp builds runs on that software. And they have a performance test engineering group that we have students working in. So they're figuring out how to make that storage system run faster, better. Out at Spirit Aerosystems, we have a help desk like we have at Textron. We have cybersecurity. We have a dozen students working in cybersecurity at Spirit, and they are the frontline defense for Spirit as far as cybersecurity goes. And then we have what's called Kitters. And we have about 55 students working in Kitters now, where they're building kits of fasteners for the machinists to build the airplanes with. So the machinists don't have to go back and grab parts out of a parts bin. We're hand delivering them to the machinists in a kit laid out so they don't have to look for the parts. They're right there, ready for them to use. And we've grown that team from 20 back in September to about 55 now, with 5 full-time staff on location as well to manage all of that. And then we have USD 259. We have in-school tech support. We have students that work actually in the schools with the teachers and the students there, keeping their iPads, Chromebooks, and laptops up and running. And then we have a student working cybersecurity for USD 259. And then out at Integra, we do chip failure analysis for Integra. So when they do testing up there, and when a chip fails, they got to understand why it failed. And so our electrical engineering students are working up there trying to understand why the chip failed, going inside the chip and understanding which gate broke and why it broke. Was it a static discharge problem, or was it a build issue? Plus, they're doing test software development. So they write their own tests, and our students are helping with that. At Intrust Bank, we help man their help desk. And at Biztopia, we do marketing and social media. So here at Innovar, we produce a monthly newsletter, and our students create that. They put it all together. They work with one of the local well-known PR folks, Jill Rose from Biztopia. And they work directly under her supervision. They not only do our marketing, but they do marketing for several other large companies in town. So those are the companies that we do business with here in town. And here's your chance again. Scan that QR code. Scan it and apply now. Don't wait another minute. Just get in there and apply. We'll interview you come the start of the school year. We're expecting to have quite a few positions open. We've got 1 or 2 open right now. We just went through and filled several, but we have positions that open all the time. Is that right, Shanna?
Yes, constantly. And we're going to have a lot more coming up in mid-July. So
Yeah. For one of our locations, we're hiring 5 a week right now. 5
Yes.
students a week. That's what she's talking about in mid-July. We're going to start again there. So just scan that QR code. It'll take you right to our application site and you can apply. If you don't have a resume, put one together real quick and attach it to the link that's shown there. Somebody will give you a call in a few days after that and get you set up for an interview. And if you're not in Wichita right now, we can do Teams interviews. And then when you come on site here into town, then we can do a face-to-face as well. All right. Brian mentioned in his opening that they paid out, over the school year last year, it was like $30 million in salaries. At Inovar, we're responsible for about $3.5 million of that in salaries.
That's a big chunk. Wow.
It's a big chunk of salary, yeah. So
That's
just
great.
something for you to think about. We're ready and willing to take on additional students, put you to work. Our students work directly with the local companies and they get hired. Several of our students last year, after their summer internship, were offered a position at the company they were working with. And so they started their senior year already having secured a full-time position when they graduate because of the work that they've done here at Inovar.
That's phenomenal.
Any questions for either myself or Shanna?
Yeah. Quick questions, one or two for Shanna and Gary.
Yeah, hi. So seems like there's a lot of very interesting opportunities here. And you talked a lot about like the sum of wages that Inovar and all these opportunities give, but like I'm wondering what's the approximate average that a student would get slash save over the course of, let's say, 4 years?
Yeah, so I'll let Gary and or Shanna answer that as it relates to Inovar. I can answer it generally though first. And so it's hard to quantify an average, but I don't know if you saw the starting wage, on one of Jennifer's primary positions, but Jennifer, I think it was 14, is that correct? Yeah, so $14 an hour starting. You know, there are different wages that students might start off on depending on the kind of job they accept, depending on their major. Like if it's an on-campus job, certain departments will pay more than other departments, just depending on their budget and the work. But I mean, whether it's 12, 14, 15, $16 an hour, if you add those up, I mean, 20 hours a week over the course of 50 weeks a year times 4, that's tens of thousands of dollars potentially students are earning. So that's a general answer. Gary, Shanna, I'll let you speak more specific to Inovar though, if you choose to. So
Go ahead, Shanna.
Well, so with most of our positions, entry level, it does start at $12 an hour. Now that does range up. We do have some, depending on, like Brian said, depending on where you work, that could range. If you are at one of the entry level positions, it is a lower rate, but we do have some companies that do pay out higher. We do have one company that pays 17. So it really just depends on what you're looking for, how qualified you are. And once you get into Inovar and you're working one of our entry level positions, that does open the door for other opportunities later on that do pay more. But one of the nice things about Inovar is we do give merit increases, and those merit increases are usually based off of what year you are in school and a few other things, performance also. But as you get into your sophomore, junior, senior year, you're guaranteed to get closer and closer to our cap out, which is currently at 18. So we have a nice range there for you.
yeah, that's great. Thank you for the question, Evan.
I just did some quick calculation real quick for him. Just, if you just made our entry level wage $12 an hour and you only work 20 hours a week for 50 weeks, that's $12,000 in your first year.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's how all those students are graduating debt-free, and it's through opportunities like, Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas and Enovar that are providing those opportunities. So we're super grateful. The other thing I'd say too is both of these organizations, it's not just the wage that you're getting, it's also the training, the supervision, the professional development that they provide, that in some ways goes miles beyond and pays off long after you graduate, getting that early foundation. So, and that's not something that you can get, just anywhere, working a part-time job. So I'm going to pause here. I want to be respectful of everyone's time. I told you we try to end by 4:15. And so I'll jump into the rest of the presentation. And then Jennifer and Gary, if you're willing to hang on for another 15 minutes or so to answer Q&As after 4:15, grateful if you would do that. So let me share my screen again here, and we will wrap up and then go into time for Q&A. So let's see. Can I get Gary just to nod, confirm if you can see my screen? Okay. So I mentioned, applied learning, that's our differentiator. We are so fortunate at Wichita State to have all kinds of different employer partners that we work with. These are just a few of them. Please take advantage. And by the way, I wanted to mention, Gary, Jennifer, I don't know if you saw it in the chat, but we had some students that have already said, hey, I jumped on. I already submitted my application. So keep an eye out for that, please. That's wonderful. Gary, was very kind to mention the different career events that we have coming up. These are wonderful opportunities to get involved. We have, good grief, I want to say, I think it's approaching about a dozen different career fairs, targeting different majors and everything throughout the school year. So keep an eye out for those. But a couple that I want to point out to you specifically. So these are all the events coming up this fall. The two that I want you to point out and take a look at: August 14th, the on-campus job fair. That's at the top of this screen. So, and you can learn more about these by going to wichita.edu/career events. That page may not be updated yet with this information, but it will be very soon. But go ahead, take a screenshot of this if you like. Take a picture with your phone. This is August 14th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on-campus jobs fair. Gary will be there, as well as a boatload of probably 40 other different on-campus departments that are eager to hire students for these on-campus jobs. Now, Jennifer will be, in addition to Gary, Jennifer will be at the Career Connection Root Beer Kegger. So Gary, thanks for putting the plug in for that event. That's my favorite event that we do here at Wichita State. Everybody gets a hot dog and a root beer. It is a ton of fun, a way to engage with employers in a casual setting. So Gary, go ahead.
Nice, I love it. I've been to a few of them. Even as a student, I went to. I was an older student, but yeah, yeah, they're a ton of fun.
Yeah, thank you. So, and finally, I want to point out for anyone that has maybe not enrolled yet, because this is, I know we have admitted students. Some of you are already enrolled in your fall courses. That's great. I wanted to go through very quickly this enrollment checklist because we want to make sure that you're squared away. Again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop those in Dawson in the chat. You can also hang out after we wrap up here and get into the Q&A session and drop those in. But of course, we want you to make sure to set up your MyWSU account and email. The link for that is on there, mywsu.wichita.edu. If you haven't done it yet, submit your FAFSA through studentaid.gov. If you're living on campus or plan to live on campus, I hope you've already done the housing stuff there through wichita.edu/housing. There's also a tremendous resource through Zemi to meet some future classmates and roommates. Please take advantage of that. If you haven't yet, complete that freshman pre-enrollment questionnaire at wichita.edu/orientation. If you're a transfer student and you're on this call, same place, go to wichita.edu/orientation and meet with your advisor and register for orientation. So you can review and confirm your fall schedule, again, through mywsu.wichita.edu. And then please attend a summer orientation. There is one August 19th, 2024, which is attend summer orientation. That is separate. I goofed up this list. August 19th, that should be on a second line. I didn't space down. August 19th, 2024 is the first day of school. So there are lots of summer orientations. You have lots of options to attend one of those. Please attend one. And then August 19th, 2024 is the first day of school. That should be on the second line or the third line. So you can find all these at wichita.edu/senior steps and wichita.edu/transfer steps. So again, before we get into Q&A, I understand if people need to hop off, please, get online, apply. If you have other questions and you can't hang out for the Q&A, email me directly, and I'm happy to answer those. But now, let's hang out. What questions do you all have? We'll stick around for about 15 minutes. I think it's fine. I invite you to just unmute your mic and ask that question or drop it into the chat. We'll stick around for 15 minutes.
All right, well, let's start off with something kind of lighthearted. What flavor or flavors / brands of root beer are at the root beer kegger, and how good are they?
That's a great question, Evan. Oh my gosh. So there is one flavor of root beer, just so you know. It is root beer. That is all we offer, but it is the best root beer you're ever going to have. And it is almost unique to Wichita State University. So Wichita Brewing Company started brewing this root beer about 6 or 7 years ago at our request. So they are a brewer here in town, local craft brewery. And we said, hey, Wichita Brewing Company, people seem to like you. You're really popular. Do you do root beer? And they said, no, we don't. And we said, would you? And they said, oh my gosh, that's a really good idea. So for a few years, the only place you could get Wichita Brewing Company root beer was at the Wichita State University root beer kegger. Now, it was so popular that they now bottle it, sell it, and you can get it all over the place. So that's the kind of root beer we have at the Wichita Root Beer kegger. I love that.
Well,
Thank
all
you.
right, well, I'm gonna have to buy some while I'm in town for orientation.
Very good. Thanks for the question. Lauren.
I also have one. What if you can't have root beer for some of their reasons?
Hey, we'll have some bottled water there for you as well. So yeah, you can grab a hot dog, and the best thing that you're going to get at the root beer kegger is the conversation with the employers. So
Yay.
I love your enthusiasm.
Like that. Yep.
Thank
I definitely got to go to that one.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Anyone?
Okay.
Other questions? And I'm perfectly fine to hang on the call. Lauren, you raised your finger. Did you have another question? Okay, very good. I'm really good. I was a substitute teacher for a while, and so I'm good at. Oh, JJ's got a question. JJ, I was going to say I'm perfectly happy to sit in silence and wait for the questions to come. So yeah, JJ, go ahead. JJ, I don't know. We can't hear you if you are asking a question. It doesn't look like you're muted. But if we can't hear you, JJ, feel free to drop that into the chat. Shanna, we have another question from Caden to everyone. Does Innovar require students to interview with one of their partners if Innovar offers a position? That's an interesting question. I have not heard that before. So Shanna, you're on mute, but go ahead and unmute. Yeah.
Thanks, Brian. So with a lot of our partners, they do like to do their own separate interviews. You'll always have like a pre-screening interview with Innovar, and then we will kind of help direct you on where would be the best place for you, whether that be one of our entry-level positions out at Textron or Spirit. Those typically do not require a second interview, but a lot of our other partners, they do.
Thank you for that response. And I think I was typing out a message to Gabriel. And Gary provided some additional context. But yeah, I think, Shanna, I think what Caden was referring to, it sounded like, was maybe slightly different than the question you answered. I think it says, does Innovar require students to interview? No, that was the question you answered. Forgive me. Yeah. Yeah. So in some cases, it's just an interview with Innovar. And in some cases, it's an interview with Innovar and then an interview with the industry partner. Yep.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Yep. And as far as age requirements go, that also depends on the partners. With Textron, as long as you're 16, you can work there at our help hangar, but a lot of the positions do require that you're 18.
There you go. Evan, you have your hand raised again.
Yep, I was just wondering, like, this is obviously something very desirable for a lot of students to get into, so I presume it's pretty competitive. So how quickly do positions typically fill out?
You know, I'll speak that as a general, and then I'll let Jennifer and Gary speak to it individually. But one of the good things about Wichita State University is, you know, Gary just said that they employ 300 students, right? As a whole, Wichita State University employs about 2,000 to 2,500 students at any given time. That doesn't count the opportunities that Boys and Girls Club and other external employers that we work with offer. So the good news is, with anytime you have employer volume or employment volume of that size, there's always churn in the opportunity. So students are always using those career experiences that they're getting. Like Gary said, they're transitioning into full-time roles, you know, from part-time roles as students. You know, they're you know, maybe wrapping up their term with Boys and Girls Club and maybe moving into a full-time teaching, you know, position with USD 259, Wichita Public Schools, or another employer. So there's always opportunities coming up. That being said, there's a huge amount of opportunities that there's a lot of hiring that takes place right at the very beginning of the fall semester. Now, if you miss that early fall semester window from, say, August to October, there are still opportunities that are going to be available. As Gary said, they are hiring all of the time. Jennifer, I know, with Boys and Girls Club, is hiring. They need to fill a boatload of spots for this fall. But guess what? There will be people that cannot continue from the fall into the spring for different reasons, right? Maybe they got another job or whatever. So they're going to have needs all the time. So I don't know. I think the, you know that there's going to be opportunity year round for you to step into positions like these. And there's even more opportunity right here at the beginning of the fall semester. So that's what I would say. Jennifer, Gary, anything to add? Shanna, jump in.
Brian, you really summed it up well for Boys and Girls Club. We find that we employ about 80 part-time individuals throughout the year. We really have kind of 3 different times where we do large hirings, and that's in the fall. So August, getting ready for that school year. And then we gear up again in January. And then we look to hire people for summer employment. So there's kind of 3 different opportunities. But as we have people leave our organization for, full-time positions with other companies or get promoted internally with our organization, that creates an opening. So we are kind of hiring all year round. We do find that we have kind of 3 major hiring kind of surges where we do large orientations and trainings, but we might hire 1 or 2 people, on a monthly basis year round. So do
That's
check
great.
out our website and fill out an application, because we are getting ready to gear up for a large hiring surge for individuals to start with us in August.
Yeah, don't wait to do that. I mean, with either one of these employers, these are hot opportunities. So it does, and one of the things sometimes students ask, or things I'll hear from students are, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to start working. I am kind of curious about, seeing how the freshman year starts out or whatever. That's okay. It's still okay to fill out an application too. An application, just puts your name out there for consideration so that you can begin to have this conversation. There's no harm in, filling out an application, doing an interview, and then going, you know what? I'm really grateful for the job offer, but I'm gonna hang on for just a second. I'm gonna wait this first semester of my freshman year, and just see how things go. I want to make sure I'm doing okay with my classes before I start. And you know what Jennifer and Gary and Shanna would say? Whoa, good for you. Yeah, that's great. Will you give us a call, reach out to us again in the spring when you're, or leading up to the spring when you're ready to work. So I always say, apply now, entertain the conversation, and then that opens doors for the future, right? Doors that you can walk through at any time. So don't wait, apply now. There's no harm in it, only good. So
One thing I'd like to add to that too is, because we at Innovar work with so many local companies, let's say we put you at Textron and for some reason, or in the help hangar at Textron, and for some reason it doesn't work out, or you find that you'd rather do something different, we can transfer you to one of the other locations if they have an opening. It's not, well, this didn't work out and I got to go look for a job someplace else. We will help you move to a different organization within Innovar if we have an opening there.
Yeah, you just have to communicate that with us. We'll do our best. Yeah.
that's a great point, Gary. And somebody asked the question in the chat, a little while ago, but I'll point this out. Innovar Boys and Girls Club, I mean, they hire you with the understanding that they know your students when they hire you, right? And so somebody said, well, what about class schedules? Those are all things you can work out, over the course of an interview. So we're really grateful to have employer partners who, can be flexible with student schedules, whether it's the days they work out of the week or the hours that they work on those days. About setting a schedule that you have at the beginning of each semester that you can stick to throughout the rest of the semester, considering your class schedule. So I want to jump to another question. Oh no, Gary may have just answered that. If I would switch to a different position with Innovar, would that require an interview with that company? And I'll just answer that one very quickly. In some cases it might, and in other cases, maybe not. So is Shanna or Gary, do you want to elaborate on that? And then I think, Lauren, did you have a question? We'll come to Lauren after you answer that question, Gary, Shanna.
Yeah. So typically if we do move you from one location to another location, it would require an interview. Either that would be another interview with us, or it would be an interview with the partner.
And Evan had a quick follow-up to that question. Can such transfers happen within the same organization, within the same company?
Yes, we have a lot
Yes.
of that. We have a lot of different positions available at like Textron or Spirit. And we have students that'll move out of our help hangar into other positions all the time.
Yeah.
And those
I-
do still require those will require an interview with that new area.
Yeah. No, and I see another question Andrea just asked, but a quick story about that. Like I said, we're very fortunate. I remember a young student named Caleb who approached me. I want to say he was a transfer student, came to us. I connected him with Innovar, and I think he just hit it out of the park and was learning so much. He, they were teaching him so much. He developed a capability for leadership, became a student team lead, and that all happened pretty rapidly over the course of about 6 to 9 months. It might have been that fast. Now that doesn't always happen, but Caleb's just a good example of what can happen if you work hard and listen and take advantage of opportunities within these different organizations. So Andrea asked a question. She said, who should we email for mock interviews or if we need resumes looked at? Right now you can email, oh my gosh, and that's at the very last bit of my slide. Let me put this up so that everybody can see this. We'll go to screen 2. I forgot to share that. So if you guys can see my screen, I neglected to get to the last slide in my deck, which is this one, connect with us. So if you have questions about career-related activities, mock interviews, resume reviews, all that kind of stuff, just email us at SCA, that's Shocker Career Accelerator, SCA@wichita.edu, or call our front desk at 978-3688. So our offices are here in the Marcus Welcome Center. And yeah, we want to see you. So let me look at this last thing here. Oh, I love this question. Gary, yeah, thank you for answering that, Gary. This is the last question and then we'll sign off. But for Innovar representatives, if I'm getting a degree that's unrelated to IT or cybersecurity, can I still apply or will my application be rejected? And Gary says, apply. I know so many students that were studying so many different degrees that have worked for Innovar, that have worked for Boys and Girls Club, that have worked for all of these different employers. If they have a degree requirement, which for a lot of these entry-level opportunities, they do not, like a specific major, they don't have that requirement. If a campus department or somebody has that, they will make that clear to you, okay? Innovar hires students from all kinds of different majors, and so does Boys and Girls Club. So no issue. So we need to wrap up. Jennifer, Gary, is there anything that you would like to say before we sign off?
Click the QR code when you go back and review this again. Click the
Yeah, I
QR
also
code and
put the-
apply.
And I put the link in chat for anybody.
Very good.
I would
Jennifer.
just like to say thank you for allowing me to be on today. And we really thrive in allowing people to come in, and it's a safe place to learn. We do a lot of training and developing. And so as students, we know that this may not be your final career working for us at Boys and Girls Club, but we do take pride in all of the students who come and work for us and then go on to other careers in different fields and industries. So we're a great employer, a great place to work, and a great place to learn and grow. So thank you, and I hope to see some applications.
Right on. All right, guys, this is great. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me directly at brian.austin@wichita.edu or send them to that sca@wichita.edu email address. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful week and look out for this recording once we get it up on YouTube, on the admissions YouTube page. So thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.